All right, there we go. We got it. All right, all you freedom-loving boys and girls, whoever you are, wherever you are on this beautiful blue planet of ours, Mark, Centerline Systems, and welcome to our live stream, kind of making these things a habit, Mondays and Thursdays. Hey, tonight we're going to talk about our Concealment Caddy. There's a couple little tweaks there. Like when it first came out, I was calling it the Outdoor Companion, but I think it'll make a little bit more sense why I changed the name to the Concealment Caddy. And as always, got a couple little woos in the house. Big Visk, new version. Gene from across the pond, woo, and Elf chiming in with a woo. I think the woos are kind of catching up. All right, but hey, so as always, before I get into it, I always got a little story or a little something to talk about. So just kind of a little bit of housekeeping. So kind of got my ass handed to me, or just, the deal, just busy. I was actually just scrambling over on the website. I'm trying to get the SRDP set up. I got to do all the stuff and figure it all out, but that will be up either tonight or tomorrow morning. Kind of depends on what if I can get it done tonight. If not, it'll be up by tomorrow morning. And then Thursday's live stream, we'll have a special guest, Evan Sambita from Sambita Custom Knives. He's going to come on. We'll show a little bit of some of the stuff he does. You can find him on Instagram. His name is spelled a little differently. It's Siembida, but it's pronounced Sambita. Evan Sambita for Sambita Custom Knives. We'll have him on, talk about his products, and actually talk about, we'll see if he wants to go down this road, but he's really big into a lot of his own game. And that's what I want to kind of talk about and just kind of let people know, like, hey, there's all kinds of, it's awesome. It gets you out there, exercises your head, your body, and I'm just not going to lie. I mean, like, wild game is awesome. I know right now somebody's saying, oh, I hate the taste of venison. Well, that's because, you probably shot a 16-point buck and then you try to eat it. That's like eating your grandpa. Like, no, of course that's going to taste like crap. All right. Without further ado, I think we got some, I'm just throw that up there. Big Visk. He was the new version. And it's not a new version, it's an alteration. So without further ado, Big Visk and everybody else who's there, thanks for joining us. And here we go. We're going to jump right into it. So this was weird. I'm sitting down. I have not had one of these, if I'm wearing pants or shorts or anything like that, without sweatpants, I have not had one of these on my waist for like almost 3 weeks, a month now. So it's kind of weird sitting down without this on, but this is the one I'm running, and might as well just jump right into it. When I say new version, here's something that I did for myself. So here's the original version you can see, and it's Molly on the back. And here, I'll just kind of do this in two separate ways so you see what I'm talking about. I should have had it prepped, but like I said, just mad scrambling, trying to get stuff done. Just absolute crazy. So depending on how you weave it, you can see I skipped the top row on one column, skipped the bottom row on another column. That means, your belt would come. So on this one, your belt would ride lower, putting the pouch higher up on your waistline. And then if you went up here, your belt would ride higher. So this is lower on your waistline. So this is what I was using, because you can use the Molly, in lieu of belt loops. I personally don't know if I would put this. I don't think I'll have this on the outside of my any of my gear, unless it's on my person, right? Then I will, right? Because simply, we've got all kinds of tie down points. Here, I'll do this on the gray better. There's tie down points. You can see it right there on all four corners. So you've heard me talk about this. You can dummy cord your material. So you could have it on the outside of like a rucksack or some other device. But, even dummy corded, look, it isn't going to fall out. You can see, but I still me personally, I don't like taking that risk. So as I was doing this, I'm like, well, how many people really want the Molly? How many people are really going to Molly it to the outside? Gene, I know you're on here and I know you've got one. I don't know if you're wearing it on your waist or if you're mollying it to the outside. I can't speak for anyone else. Yeah, Al, I don't think you have one, but Gene, I know Gene does. So I just kind of was thinking about it. I'm like, you know what? Maybe it should be with belt loops. And if you look at any of the other gear I make, I'm kind of a fan of belt loops, right? Because if it's mission critical gear, you just don't ever want to be without. Well, I don't like having the idea where it could inadvertently fall off my body. Like the snaps come off, or like I said, this is on your rucksack. This is an EpiPen, and let's say you really needed one, and now you take a tumble and the EpiPen comes out and you didn't dummy cord it. Well, I'm just not a big fan of that, right? So I was like, you know what? I've got to redo this and I've got to reconsider belt loops. So you can see on the back, that's what we just did, right? So I got a handful going back over to Alex Messenger so I can get some photos of the back sides. We've got some new photos of this up on the website right now, but it's going to have 3 belt channels, right? So I've been running this one for a week now. And unlike, as I said, if you use the Molly, it'll ride high on your waistline or low on, high on your waistline or low on your waistline. The belt loops puts it right in the middle of your waistline. And I personally kind of like that. And I think mentally, I just like the security that, yeah, that's on my belt and that isn't coming off unless I, intentionally take it off or somebody cuts it off there. And let's just kind of see, we got a comment here. Gene has one of these, I know for a fact. So I want to see what Gene have to say. Gene, on a pack and on the waist, also shoulder strap. Yeah. So yeah, if you're really smart, you can either use the Molly on the backside and run some split bars, or if you've got a different type of shoulder strap system, you could even still do the same thing with these dummy cord tie down loops on the edges, run some 550 cord through there, make a big loop and then attach your shoulder strap that way. Yeah. So it would be a really nice little comfortable shoulder carry bag. Great job, Gene. I hadn't really I know you could do it. I haven't experimented with that yet, but if it's something small and easy like that, that's actually would be a really good idea. So, so kind of just jumping into it. So we kind of started off on the backside. And that's really the major point I wanted to make. Molly, you can attach it to all kinds of different things. Imagine just running some, again, like one of our gear straps or just some 550 cord or something around the headrest on your vehicle. Well, now you could Molly it there, and this could be on the, on the back side of your vehicle. So it's always there. Again, some mission critical stuff that you just don't ever want to be without. But and once I get this all done with the pictures, I'll be running 2 of these with the waist loops, because like I'm running it on one side. I carry concealed differently, now I'm always appendix or I'm doing a shoulder holster. So my right side, and that's what I'll get in. You can kind of see what I've got set up here. So let's just jump right into that. Thanks, Al. Yeah, that's nice. Should conform nicely. You are correct, sir. So we change it over to the Concealment Caddy because, again, you can wear this overtly and put mission critical items in there. Of course you can, right? Hands down. But I think the real design and the real thought behind it. So this is something that myself and Jack from Black Scout Survival, and please, you guys in the chat, don't let me forget this. I'll come over to Jack here again in a second. But Jack and I talked about doing this about 3 years ago. I know it really was, but with this whole, madness, I don't know if it was 2 years ago, 3 years ago, or 4 years. Everything just blurs, right? I hope it's not blurring for you guys, but that's what it's been like for me. But so we came up with this idea about somewhere between 2 and 4 years ago, and we just never were able to execute, right? But the whole concept was, hey, and again, little disclaimer, if you're big into the outdoors and you don't like personal defense, concealed carry, that's fine. But there's a lot of other people who do. I still will always make the argument until you become the Wolverine and you can beat a grizzly bear, you got titanium, adamantium, or whatever the hell, what was that other metal? Captain America's, like, the unobtainium or something like that. But unless you've got that kind of skill set, I need a tool. I'm a human being. I need tools to help, level the playing field against Mother Nature. So this was really kind of more of a thought process for, your everyday carry, whether you want to carry meds, whether you carry concealed, whether you've got a job where you're constantly using a Leatherman or a flashlight, you might be in the trades, that kind of stuff. You can wear it open carry, if you just got it full of tools, or maybe you're in open carry state and that's how you prefer to do it anyway. But it's got a nice profile, really thin. And, to Al's point, yeah, that's nice. Should conform nicely. It does. It conforms to your body. And, so I wear, I call them like, well, they're really fat guy hoodies, but, I like to say tactical girth, so over the last couple of years, I've put on a little tactical girth just because of my injuries and stuff and not being as active. But I've always wear oversized clothing because I'm thinking concealment, right? And this guy is nice and thin and it does not print. If you're wearing, body hugging suit, well, then you do you, right? But that's not going to conceal. But this conceals really, really nicely. And this is, and I'll just go over this in a second, So this is my setup right here. And I'll get into some of the other components as we're doing it. So I'm carrying a spare mag. And what I like, so you've got two pockets on the outer side, on the edges. And you can see it's got elastic around the top. And what I wanted to do is we wanted to make a pocket, because I don't know what you're going to put in there. So this isn't really a loadout, but I'm going to show you a bunch of different items. But I don't know exactly what you're going to put in there. But whatever it is, you know, like I thought about, well, why not do that out of Kydex and make it specifically for a magazine? Okay, well, now it gets in the question of what type of magazine you're carrying. Single stack, double stack. Is it a Glock? Is it a Smith? You know, whatever it is, those are all different. So this is kind of one of those, it's a general size, but you'll see a bunch of the general items that I think you'd probably be carrying in there anyway, right? So it's a general kind of size, but allows for easy access. So I'm carrying a spare mag. Then in my main pocket, and this is like, and of course I had it set up here and I must have moved it like a knucklehead. Well, think of our EDC belt pouch. This is basically the EDC belt pouch. That's what this pocket is right here. And in this one right here, and I'm going to do a little, kind of show you a little bit of a trick here. So this is, I don't know if you saw what I just pulled out. So this is a SWAT T tourniquet. It could be a military field dressing. You know, you could put a boo-boo kit in there. Excuse me. But so if I'm thinking, hey, if I have to use a weapon to defend myself, I also better be prepared to save somebody's life, and I better know how to do that, right? So I've got, this is a pressure dressing / tourniquet. It's kind of neat. I got to order another one so I can take this out and play with a little bit. But the other point I wanted is to show out, right? So I've got a set of medical gloves. And, you know, maybe you already know this, so I don't want to be condescending, you know, don't take it that way. But if you're going to shove any type of item like this, and, you know, and I want my gloves kind of loose. So as I pull this out, I want to be able to access my gloves. So all I did is I folded my gloves around my compress, right? Or my SWAT T, my tourniquet. And then what that allows me to do is it just allows it to go in. Super simple, right? I don't have to put the tourniquet in and then try to jam the gloves down there, anything like that. And then no matter what I'm grabbing, when I'm reaching in here and pulling it out, the gloves are going to come out. You know, my hand is eventually going to grab part of the glove, and then that's going to fall. And then I can just throw my gloves on, get the tourniquet out, start doing business on, you know, hopefully that person who isn't too badly injured. And yeah, you can tell I've been wearing it. It's got my orange hoodie fuzzies on it. And then last but not least, on the far side, just to give you an example. So this is a personal defense flashlight that Jack over at Black Scout makes. And I don't know if you've ever seen them, but if you're into that bezel, and you can do a red lens on it, but that bezel on this flashlight is why I like it. It's not because I do business with Jack. I was sitting at a picnic table years ago, and this thing is it's aggressive. And I just jammed it into a picnic table and raked. And I'm just like, oh my God, could you imagine what that would do to flesh if you had to use this flashlight, you know, as part of a personal defense? And that's what you get out of it. And on top of that, who doesn't need a flashlight, right? As part of your EDC. So, you know, you should have a flashlight. But just to give you another idea, and again, I don't know where you live, you know, what state, what country, you know, you follow your own rules. But this is an ASP baton. So just to give you an idea, so if a flashlight fits in there, obviously an ASP baton fits in there as well. And I see we got some questions or some comments, so I'm going to pause before I show you some other aspects. And then I've got another one kind of loaded out for more of the bushcraft everyday kind of crowd. All right, way to throw me under the bus, Gene. Who thinks we need a Centerline Systems logo as a Velcro patch? Nobody, Gene. Nobody thinks that. That's funny. All right, just kind of getting into the materials, and I'm going to show you another loadout and a couple other little things you might want to think about. So you know, you can see it's all, you know, 500D Kadura, you know, mil spec. It's either going to be 17337 or 55301, depends on the camo or the solid colors, but that's the webbing we're using. And then again, you know, elastic up on the front, that gives you that nice little kind of like grabby, touchy thing. And I might show it a little bit better on the next one I'm bringing up. But then on the back side, you can see that's that rubberized sewable material I use, right? So that actually adds another little grip. So your items that you're putting into the pockets, not only are they being secured by the pocket, the elastic, but there's grip tack that runs all the way down there and it holds it in place, gives it a little bit. It still can deploy, but that grip material, rubberized material goes in there, and then that helps secure it. And also, you know, it's like anything. And so again, as you can see, I don't know what you're going to put in there, but whether it's a flashlight, you know, a spare mag, and a lot of the spare mags, you know, have your little butt plates. So that stuff might have some edges. So just figured, you know, hey, that part of the material needs to be protected because there's going to be a lot of, you can see there's the potential for a lot of abrasion there. So why not help protect it a little bit better than the 500D will by itself. All right, gonna take a quick little break, see if we got any comments here besides Gene's. I'll just put it up there one more time. If you agree with Gene and we need to do a Centerline Systems logo patch, you know, leave a comment on the video when it's video on demand afterwards. And, you know, I mean, if we get enough people, we'll do it. As a matter of fact, Gene, I'm glad you kind of mentioned that. So I don't know if I'll do it Thursday or next Monday. I'm going to bring up the workshop bib / barbecue bib again. And, you know, because I think if we're going to do it, we should start figuring out how we're going to do it pretty soon. You know, I've got to build in the time to get some done. We have to do a limited run, but I'm going to ask all you great guys and gals, like, well, what do you think? Should we do it? You know, and I'm not even 100% sure how much it would cost. I did that for me. I didn't really even take the time to figure out, well, how much material and all that. Probably have to make another one just so I can get those numbers. Yeah, maybe we'll do that, and we'll do that as a contest here. You know, whether we do there it is right there. So sometime next week. Well, yeah, I'm going to hold off on that because I got something else going on next week that you might be interested in. So we might actually tuck it in with that. So just stay tuned on the bib, but you see where I'm getting at, right? So, but if you agree with Gene and you want a Velcro patch, leave me a comment, you know, at some point. Now, here's another version, Ranger Green, Kyder Brown. So I think you can see it a little bit better. I'm wearing that Wolf Gray. I think that one's going to be mine. But just to give you some, again, just a loadout video, but just ideas, right? So maybe an EpiPen is something that you don't ever want to go into the woods without, right? You need this EpiPen because you could go into anaphylactic shock or something like that. So, you know, that was one of the other things that I wanted to make sure it would fit. So it fits a magazine. It fits a flashlight. You can fit an asp baton. It also, you can see, now that would ride a little bit high, but, you know, hey, dude, if you're under duress, like, oh, shit, I just got stung. I better, like, get my EpiPen out. That's going to make for a really quick, fast, easy, gross motor skill type of grab and deployment. So just another little example of the type of devices that you can put in the side pockets. And this, I'm not going to carry an EpiPen, but this is going to be very close to what I'm going to carry on my right side. My right side will be my kind of like, you know, just normal everyday carry. Like, if you're like me, you know, I can't tell you how many times, you know, people laughed at me when I pulled out a Leatherman. You know, this isn't a Leatherman, this is a Gerber, you know, but you do you. There's a whole bunch of these different tools out there. Like, oh, and the next thing you know, you're pulling out your Leatherman, your Gerber, and you're solving the problem. And then people are laughing. You're like, oh, you can't believe you carry that around. I can't believe you're giving me shit for carrying it around when I just fixed your car door for you with it. You know, like, what the hell? So if that's your thing, you're going to want to carry it. And then what I'll do, so this is what I took out of my other pouch, the one because I'm normally just carrying a belt pouch right now, but you get the idea. So I showed you a tourniquet. In this one, I've got, so this is a little, and again, this is from Black Scout Survival. I don't know if he sells these or not anymore, but this is a small little boo-boo kit. I usually carry just a couple business cards in there. And then I've got a bunch of like regular Band-Aids, antacid, just, you know, the normal standard, you know, everyday, you know, lickies and chewies, you know, but on the medical side. And then, you know, if you didn't already figure it out, that whole pouch is designed around the size of the Altoids tins, survival tins. I do want to just take one moment. I've plugged these guys a bunch. Now, this is one of the tins. I did not get this tin from CountyCom. I've mentioned them before. I might even type it in so everybody can see it. It's countycom.com. But anyway, they have their own tin, which is pretty much the same. It's just a little bit larger. It still fits in the belt pouch in this, but their tin, with it being just a little bit larger, what you're going to see here is they make these really cool inserts that can go in your tin. Now, this one I've cut apart because this is my no shit medicine. Don't ever want to be without, like, you know, for a variety of different scenarios. And then I just put these in there. So they also have these little pill cases, depending on what size your pill is, you can get, 2 to 6, items in there. And then I just got a little button compass because, hey, better have and not need and need not have. But they're the little dividers that they make. It'll fit in a normal Altoids tin, but you kind of see I had to cut it just a little bit and tweak it because it was just a tad bit, like seriously, like, and we're talking like a 32nd of an inch too large than the standard Altoids tins. It's kind of designed for their Altoids tins, which are pretty cool as well. And I think, let's take a look at some comments. That's a pretty fast video going here. We're already at 20 minutes and I don't really know how much more to say. I mean, the main pocket, 2 side pockets for storage, whatever that device is, whether you're looking at this as a fire starting kit, a bushcraft kit, a medical kit, a lickies and chewies kit, a first aid kit, a concealed carry kit, whatever it is, that's up to you, right? You do you, but it will, if you want to wear it open, Mafi Mushkala, right? No problems. If you want to wear it concealed, it's got a really nice flatness to it. So it conceals very nicely. It doesn't print. It's not overly large, but now then you really need to think about your clothing if you're concerned about that. And that's why I say I always buy fat guy, hoodies, because they just conceal a little bit better. And then on that last note, and then I'm going to come over here, some comments. So these will be available over on Black Scout. They're on my site right now, and with all the, if you want to tweak it, I want this color, that, and I want this and that. You can get those right now on our site. Over on Jack's side, on Black Scout Survival, he's going to carry them as well. I got to get him. He's got 2 of the of this version. I got to get him 2 of the belt loop versions, and he's going to make a decision which one he likes best. And then, we'll probably have 2 very specific colors that are only sold over on his side at Black Scout Survival and for all his great customers. All right, 21 minutes. I'm whizzing through it. This whole day, I've been behind schedule on almost everything I've done today, but I'm ahead of schedule on today's little video. So let's go right where we got here. Let's kind of get some comments in here. Okay. All right. There. This is where we start. Al, I was thinking of the barbecue apron today. Hey, so seriously, so I think what I'll do sometime next week is I'll ask everybody, like, hey, whoever's interested, leave a note in a specific video not in the live chat, but in the actual comments. And if I get enough people who are interested, and, maybe I'll say, in what colors do you think? Because I don't know if I'll do, I don't know. I'll probably just do 2 colors. I mean, maybe I'll do Ranger Green, Multicam Black. Maybe I'll do Coyote Brown and Black, or, I don't know. But let's just put that out there to a vote and see what people think. And if I get enough people who think it's not a bad idea, then I'll actually take the time. We'll make one. And so I can figure out how we made it, and then I can figure out what it would cost. And then we'll probably just do a limited run of like 10. All right. Then Al left another comment here. Sasquatch carrying a mother patch. Gene, see, look what you've already started. Damn it. Woo, Gene. Thanks. Gummy bears, bro. Gummy bears, not that kind of crap. But that's actually kind of funny. Sasquatch with a mother canteen carrier over its shoulder. That's not bad, Al. That's not bad right there. If you don't mind, maybe put that out on the main part of this video when it's just up for on demand. It's not a bad idea. Hey, you know what? And then honestly, for Gene and Al and everybody, I got to give another shout out here. Oh, and I'm sorry, I forgot to do one thing. So I had a little key ring put together with just some other small items. So using those dummy cord tie downs, you can put a chem light through there, a pen through there. You could do a ferrule rod if you wanted to rig up a ferrule rod, on a little shock cord keeper type of system. But I also just wanted to point out, so maybe you're a big fan of the Swiss Army knife. So there's a Swiss Army knife in there. You might want to have a little pull lanyard on it. But I found that I can get a Swiss Army knife, and this is right over here. A Swiss Army knife and a space pen. I think and then the space pen just goes in just deep enough. Leave it out there, and then and there you can see it. So there's the space pen right there in the corner, and it's nice and secured. The clip is over it, and then inside of it, oops, sorry, I always do the wrong stupid hand because I'm looking at it. And then you can see the Swiss Army knife in there. So a whole bunch of different options can go in there. little small flashlights. They fit in there as well. They also can fit in the main compartment. It's really kind of just you do you, right? You figure out what you want to put in there based on your needs, your environment, what is you're trying to accomplish. But just because we're on this note, and Gene's getting me in trouble, but I do want to just say one more thing. And if the gentleman's watching, you know who you are, but I really do mean it. I've said it a bunch of times, and it's the God's honest truth. You guys and gals are so awesome. You know, everything from, you know, sending me gummy bears to, I just had somebody send this to me. All right. I mean, you do you. I mean, you practice your own religion and your own faith as you see fit. But I just had somebody out of the goodness of their heart send me a little thing to help me with my religious and, you know, my religion and my personal direction and the path I'm on. So that's really friggin' awesome. You guys and gals are awesome. Now let's go to Big Visk. He's got a comment here. And I probably should read them before I show them, just in case there's swear words or something, but I don't think any of you guys are going to do that. So what we got, it's always funny. This is Big Visk. It's always funny to me how people crack jokes about what you're carrying while you're using what you carry to fix a problem for them that they couldn't fix because they aren't carrying SETMs. Seriously, that happens. I don't know, Big Visk and everybody else. Doesn't that happen like between 3 and 5 times a year? You've got a group, you somewhere in your circle of friends, somebody thinks you're crazy for being prepared, you know, and like, you know, and not going out in the woods without the ability for, you know, shoot, move, communicate, medicate, you know, food, fire, water, shelter, 10 C's, however you want to say it. But you should go out there with all of that in your mind. And at least you better prioritize and have some of that stuff. And people be like, oh, ha, ha, ha. Oh, so a year ago, I was hanging out with some friends just at a little, like not really an RV park, but kind of an RV park along a river, nice landing, really cool place. And they were having a hard time getting the fire going because everything was wet. I grabbed my mother canteen, carried Big Visk, just to your point, grabbed my mother canteen, carried, pulled my fire starting kit out of it. And next thing you know, I had a fire going. And I'm like, yeah, talk shit now. You know, like, you know, I got the fire going and you were struck, you know, so you're absolutely right, Big Visk. It happens all the time. All right, let's go to Gene from across the pond. He says, so he's referencing, because Gene does have one of these. Like I said, I know he has one. He uses his for loads of things, from one of the tins, you know, like a survival tin, slingshot. Oh, by the way, I've posted that before. Go check out that post, or go over to Gene and find him. Well, I reposted it, but you'll see the slingshot he has. That kind of stuff is badass right there too. I mean, thanks, Gene. That's actually been circulating in my brain. I'm like, oh, I might have to look into one of those things. You know, get a little Dennis the Menace back here. But so he's got a tin, slingshot, flashlight, tools, notebooks. The list is endless. Yeah, you're absolutely right. So, and what's nice is, hey, if you're doing something different, well, then just reconfigure, reload for whatever that task and that purpose is that you're trying to accomplish, or that mission, if you want to use that terminology, for the day. And then coming over here to Big Visk. I think I'd use it for bushcraft or hiking. My work dress is not conducive to oversized hoodies. Yeah, exactly. If that's not part of your everyday thing, then maybe this isn't how, you know, and if you do carry, and look, you know, again, I don't know your circumstances or who you are or where you're from. Maybe your business, you can't, you know, and they've got a, whatever. You see what I'm getting at? You know, yeah, if you can't use that, if that's not part of your dress, I mean, but if part of your dress, because if you were doing construction or the trades or maintenance and you just had this stuff all around your body, open carry, well, you know, yeah, it's got a Leatherman, it's got the flashlight. I've got, maybe there's some small electronic part or a certain part for some device that you work on all the time that you don't want to lose. So you throw all that stuff into a tin and then now you're carrying it with you. So yeah, how you set it up and use it is, quite honestly, it's just as unique as your own fingerprint, right? And then got one more comment here. Al, when I was a teenager, 62 now, you're still a teenager in my mind, sir. Still a teenager at heart. My friends called me Pockets. I always had what was needed. Seriously, when I was a kid, my friends called me Commando, and because of that same type of shit, because like I'd have like BDU pants on, and they thought it was like, you know, some, like, no, dude, because I have pockets so I can carry my shit around, you know, like I want to carry things. We need to have stuff. I'm not gonna lie, I also did have a pair of parachute pants. So just, you know, I just dated myself there a little bit. Hey, on just a slightly different note, see if we got any more comments, and then I'm gonna kind of wrap it up right here, keeping it at 30. But I just wanted to point out a few things. So when I was going through my tin, right, you know, again, so you have it set up for what you need, what you're looking at doing, things of that nature. So this was about 8 months ago, not quite a year ago. Teeth, you got to take care of your teeth, right? My teeth look like shit, but I brush them 3 to 5 times a day, right? You've got to take care of so oral hygiene and hygiene in general, when you're out in the nature, if you're not doing good hygiene, I mean, that's the stuff that could drop you to your knees and knock you down. And then just even from a survival perspective or preparedness perspective. So this is what I had in there, and I just took it out to put it, because I don't need it right now, but I had this dental thing. I chipped the tooth. Well, and they couldn't get in. I couldn't get in to see him for like a week. So what did I just do? Clove oil, right? And there's other devices out there. There's other items that you can use, but clove oil, it should be something that you should have in your medicine chest. Clove oil, it's got all kinds of little properties. And then again, just giving County Com a shout out. These guys got so many cool little PDC things, and this is Delrin is this material. It's really badass, and they've got a couple different sizes of these tubes. And this is another one, like if I'm going to go, let's say I'm going to go hang out with Al and Gene, and we're going to drink some vodka and some gin or whatever we're going to drink, and I'm going to pass out on the couch. Well, so I can just put my nightly meds or whatever, if you take meds, if you're getting old, like some of us, you can just put your meds in here, and it's more than enough, unless you're really, taking tons of meds, but, just your little, you're just your basic pills. And then just throw it in your pocket, throw it in your, your concealment caddy, whatever the case is. And then now you at least got that 24 hours worth of medicine. So just 2 other little things to think about. I've mentioned them a bunch of times, countycom.com. So it's county, and then it's com, C-O. Here, I could just do it. Wow. Yeah, actually, I'm not going to do it, because I really should do is I should just go over to the net and just pull it up and then just paste it in here as a comment. I'm pretty sure that's what it is here. I'll show that. I'm pretty sure that is what their URL is for their website. They got tons of EDC cool stuff. It's really neat. Those guys, I hate them because every time you go there, you spend money, which I guess that's a good thing. And that's why they make great gear. All right, wrapping it up with some nicknames and some final comments. We've got Big Visk. Your nicknames were cool. They called me Squirrels for squirreling things away on your person. Okay. But I've always wondered who would win if there was a war in the animal kingdom between squirrels and crows. Think about that. They both have their strengths and weaknesses, so squirrel might have been a good nickname right there, but you were squirreling stuff away. Yeah. See, that just depends. Sometimes you got good friends, and other times you got friends who just call you a crappy name and won't let it go. All right, got one more from Big Visk. Later on, I bulked. Yeah. Later on, Big Visk bulked up, became Big Visk, and then you get a cooler nickname, because no one's gonna, well, I mean, I suppose, anyway, I'm not gonna go there, but yeah, you get it. You know what I'm talking about. And then Al's drinking a beer apparently already. Good for you, sir. Good for you. All right, I like it. All right, I think that kind of does it. I don't see any more comments coming in. I'll just bullshit for a couple seconds just to see if anyone's got any last thing to say. Again, these will eventually be over on Black Scout Survival. We'll probably just do he's going to take this color and that color. And then, but over on my side, just as always, it's all handmade, custom made. So if you want the binding tape to be different, or you want the different color for the elastic or the logo, the thread, you know the deal. And so again, wasn't intending it as a load up video, but you just saw, and I think those items I displayed should give you a really good left and right limit of what goes in there. But on that note, if you're not sure, or correction, if you're unsure of something, as always, reach out. I'll do the best I can to help you out. You know the deal. Again, huge shout out to everybody, everything from gummy bears to coffee to, and then a buddy just sent me that. So I really appreciate it. You guys and gals are all friggin' awesome. Al, keep me on board and keep me pointing in the right direction on that barbecue bib. I don't know if I'll do it next week, but I think the week after, because we got a charity thing we're going to do next Thursday. Your final comments. So if you see what I'm kind of trying to do is I'm trying to bring on a guest speaker for, 10, 15 minutes on the Thursday's episodes. We got Evan Sambita from Sambita Custom Knives this Thursday. I already talked to him, got a thumbs up. He's good to go. I'm going to hold off on next Thursdays until I've got confirmation, but it's cool because these guys are doing something cool, and I'm going to try to do a charity auction like we did, those charity auctions last year, we're going to do another charity auction and try to help out with the event they're doing. But I'll save that for next week's announcements. And other than that, I don't see any more comments. So, hey, I already said it once, but I'll say it again. Mean it seriously. You know, I had a gentleman call me up the other day and we talked for 45 minutes. He had questions, right? Well, that's what I'm here for, right? So it doesn't bother me. I don't get offended. That's exactly what I'm here to do. And if you got questions, reach out. You know, if you shoot me, you know, and this guy had actually done that. He'd sent me a DM. I didn't see the DM for like, 2 days, 3 days. So I'll be the first to admit, I'm not the greatest on social media, trying to get better. This is more my speed because I get to interact with you guys. And I just like that a little bit better than just, here's a picture of what I had for breakfast type of thing. But if you reach out and DM, it might just take me a little bit to get to you. But once I get to you, we got to sit down and talk this through for an hour or something. I answer your questions. That's what I'm here for. Oh, there it is. Okay. Yeah. You know who you are, sir. I didn't know if you were in the background. I didn't see you chime in. I don't want to say anyone's names unless I get permission, but yeah, thank you very much. That's awesome. I really appreciate it. Seriously, mean that very seriously. Thank you very much. That's awesome. And then, and then we got Gene. Okay. So yeah. So you kind of like the idea of bringing on a guest every now and then. I know I might not be able to do it every week, but I want to bring other people from this kind of community who are either doing other things, making other products, working in similar or disparate, markets, or just bringing on people who've got a different and a very special or unique background to share something with you. So that's what we're going to try to do with these lives. So, and Gene, really appreciate it. Appreciate all you guys. So that's it. So how about we I just probably rambled for 5 minutes. This was going to be a 30-minute video and I just took it to 36. So on that note, if you got any, questions, comments, reach out anytime. I will do the best I can to help you out. And until then, you know the deal, boys and girls. Keep thinking, keep moving, never quit. All right, everybody, be good, and we'll see you on Thursday. Woo!